everybody. I am back today to try a new project that I don't know if it's going to work or not, but I'm going to give it a try. I've only got about 4 ounces of resin made up here and got some little bubbles. I just finished making, getting it mixed, so I'm going to let it sit for a little bit. I've got a little 4-inch coaster or tray size mold here with the rim, and I've got some tissue paper, and I have some Pixis alcohol inks. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start cutting this tissue paper into some strips, some kind of thin strips, I guess. I've just got this, it's like a full sheet just folded in half, okay, like the size you would get at, I don't know, probably the Dollar Tree or Hallmark or something. So I'm gonna just cut these. I don't even know how many because I just made this up in my mind. So I'm just kind of winging it to see what happens. Just kind of a fun experiment, and if it works, it could be a lot of fun to try something a little bit bigger, or maybe a whole set of coasters or a couple of different little trays. And if it doesn't work, then it's just one coaster size, right? Okay, I think that's it for now. So now what I want to do, I want to get a little something to put this on. Okay, I'm going to use this, my other mat here, because I need to clean it off anyway. So I'm just going to fold it a bit here. Up these. And just lay them on this. Okay, so now I'm going to kind of like scatter these out. Scatter them out like this, and then I'm going to take some, let's see, I'm going to take this candy pink. Yeah, candy pink. I'm going to take this candy pink alcohol ink, and I'm just going to start dropping a little bit on these tissue papers. Put that one aside, and then I'm going to also try some lilac purple. We're actually not using very much. It looks like there's a lot there, but there's really not too much there. So let's see. Do we want to add a bit of maybe some brighter yellow? What color should we add to go with this? Or maybe a bit of blue? Maybe just a little bit of blue? Now I'm going to come back in with a bit of this bubblegum pink. Looks like that purple is kind of taken over the purple and the blue a bit. My pink has kind of gotten lost in here. Okay, I think that's about all I'm going to do for these colors. They're very bright. It almost looks like a birthday party instead of flower colors. That's probably because I added the blue. I should have maybe just kept it the kind of some of the purples, maybe. Okay, there, that's quite a bit. Okay, now I'm going to check on my resin. Oh, it looks much better. Got a couple squirts of alcohol here. Spray my tissue paper a little bit. You can see, I mean, the colors are pretty. I'm not sure this is going to work, but it could just all leak into my resin. I don't know. But I'm going to set this over aside for a second and let it just kind of air dry before we do the next step. Give my resin just another couple minutes to let the bubbles rise. Okay, I'll be back in just a minute. Okay, while my tissue papers are still over there kind of drying, I am going to pour just a tiny bit of this just resin into a little disposable cup here, just a little bit. I want, decided I kind of want something for my center. So I'm going to add, for those colors, I believe I'm going to add some gold. So let me grab my gold flakes. I have these gold flakes. I have several different colors of these. This is kind of like, I use these a lot. This is also gold flake. They're kind of more metallic. These are kind of more like a natural gold, imitation gold leaf. And then I've got a brighter gold here. You can tell the difference in that. And then I've got some silvers. I like to have some different options when it comes to doing this kind of stuff. But yeah, I don't want this to be very thick because my coaster's not very big. In fact, I'm almost wondering if I should try to see if I have enough resin made up to do that little tray. Let me see. Hang on. You know, I think we'll go to the next step up here. I think it's going to be way too busy if I don't go up a step. This is I believe a 5 or 6 inch tray. And so that's a bit bigger than that 4-inch coaster. Right, so, and this stuff is so flaky. It just goes flying everywhere. Sticks to your hands, but it really kind of dissolves in your resin. So I'm gonna just put, that's a big chunk, but that's probably what I want actually. All right, I'm just gonna stir this in with that little bit of resin I have. Not sure that's gonna even be enough. Might have to add just a tiny bit more to get this to get down there a bit. It has to be all wet or it's not going to work. Okay. Kind of a blob right now, you can see, but that's okay. I don't want it to spread all around it in there. All right, so my resin, the bubbles have disappeared, which is good. I'm going to go around my edges real quick. Some alcohol. You don't want too much in there. You need enough just for it to touch the resin as it comes down, but if you put too much in there, you're going to get a different issue, different problem. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Now I want just enough to cover, uh-oh. I'm not going to be worried if this doesn't go all the way into the sides because we can always come back and do that later. I am just about out of my normal resin. It doesn't arrive till tomorrow. So I'm going to run down to Michael's and pick up the kind that I used to use when I first started doing resin, which is Envirotex Light. And it does a nice job. The only thing I don't really like about that resin is that it does tend to yellow. Okay, so we've got a little bit in here. So I'm going to have to put my blob in there before I start working on those things. Let's see. I've got so much room. There we go. There is the center. Make sure I got it flat enough. It's not going to stick up over the sides there. Okay. Doesn't have to be perfectly round, but you know, kind of like a messy round. Okay, so now here is my tissue paper. I think it's looking pretty dry. Let's see if it's still sticking to my hands. Well, it looks pretty dry. Let's see here. Stick it up here. So now I'm going to pour a bit more resin around this. So I've got a bit more in here. Squirt my bubbles. Got a few bubbles in there. Bring those up to the top. I can't really get started until those bubbles rise, because once I get this tissue in there, it'll be a whole different thing. Okay, so now, gosh, I don't have very much room to work with. I want to say maybe 1/4 of an inch height. So what I'm thinking of doing is getting a little stick here. Actually, how about maybe I'll just take this straw, okay? I'm gonna just start taking these and seeing if I can just kind of wrap it around this straw. I have no idea what I'm doing, so bear with me. Okay, and then I'm thinking this is our middle, so I'm gonna go right here and see what happens if I go out this way. Where's my scissors? I have just plenty made up here, you guys. That might be a couple different. Okay, let's see if I can get that out there. So now I think I want to try this maybe a little bit looser, right? I don't know. Or maybe I should just go all the way across. I could try that. Let's see, maybe going across this way. Let's see, actually, you know what? Maybe we just put them all in there. See how that works. This kind of reminds me of doing like paper mache when I was a kid. I don't know. Well, everything's wet and you're just trying to like stick it in there. Okay. Soak it all down a bit. Gosh, you guys, this actually might work. Maybe get some kind of effect. I think. So it looks like right now that the resin itself is staying clear. So it doesn't look like the alcohol inks too much are coming out, and doesn't really look like it's dripping all around. I mean, maybe some of it is going to come up on the other side. I really don't know, but give it a couple sprays here. All right, guys. I don't know. I don't know what do you think about this whole thing? Here, I'll bring it up here so you can see it. It's actually kind of pretty. I mean, the colors are pretty. I don't know what it's going to look like when we take it all out of here, but yeah. I don't know. All right, so I'm going to go set these aside and keep them for another time in case this does work and we decide it's fun. Guess we'll have to see. And then I'm going to let this cure, and I will be back so that we can demold it when it's all done. Okay, I'll see you then. Hello everybody. Okay, so I did go ahead after this was almost cured all the way. I went ahead and stuck it in the curing machine just to kind of finish it off. And so now it is pretty cured, and it's got a couple little spots here that raised up out of the tissue paper that cured, but it raised up. But it's okay. It's still, we'll still be able to cover it. But I'm excited to see how this turned out, if it did at all. So let's take it out of here and see how it did. It's kind of a different project, so yeah, don't know. Okay, are you ready? We did do the gold center, so we'll see what happened. Here it goes. Okay. Actually, it is kind of pretty. It is kind of pretty, actually. It needs, I see that the top of my mold here this is a great quality mold, but I see it's getting kind of dull. So I'm definitely gonna have to come in and do a coat of just clear resin to kind of give it some more shine. But and I think I might do a gold edge around to kind of bring this out. But gosh, what do you guys think? It's actually really pretty. What do you think? Yes? No? Maybe? Here's the back. I'm gonna do probably coat the back, but actually I kind of like the way this is. You can see all the little separate pieces of that tissue paper. The edges look pretty good. I have one little bubble here. I should have gone around with my skewer here and checked for bubbles, which I didn't do. Kind of just forgot about it, but yeah, it's kind of the only bubble I see is this one here. And we've got a couple down inside of here. I don't know if you can see them. There's one here, a big one. All right, so I'm gonna mix up some resin because I'm actually kind of excited to go ahead and get this done, get this top coat put on, because I think this is actually really pretty. And I don't think I'm gonna do any kind of a colored base. I don't think I need to do like black or anything. I think I just kind of like it a little bit translucent. But all right, well, just give me a couple minutes. I'm gonna put together some more resin and then figure out what I might want to do here, because this gold is really pretty, but it definitely looks very flat. Okay, I would like for it to have a little bit more of a 3D effect. So I'm gonna look at that, and then I will be back in just a few minutes. Okay, everybody, I've mixed up a little bit of resin here. It's in my cup. It's already starting to get a bit warm. So I put just a little bit of resin here, just a tiny bit here in this cup. I'm going to take some of these gold seed beads and make myself a little something for the center of this. Not a whole lot, just a little. So yeah, I think that's going to be about right. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour those here in the center, and then I'm going to pour my resin around it to try to keep it all kind of contained in there. There we go. They do kind of get lost. The seed beads get kind of lost in that gold, but at least it kind of gives it a little bit of a raised, you know, a little bit of a raised area there. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to pour just really slow around the edge. Don't want a whole lot going on here. But since this has a rimmed edge, I want to keep it, I want to keep my rimmed edge. I definitely want the gloss. I want the high gloss on this. Make sure it's all around the edges. See if it's covering the top there. Okay, now I'm going to also just barely kind of wet the end of my stick, and I'm going to go around the edges here on the top. I probably will come in and do a little gold leaf trim. Yep, that looks good. Okay, can you see? Giving it kind of more depth, putting the gloss on there. And I'm going to go ahead and give a spray. And making sure that none of my edges go dry. Sometimes it'll kind of shrink back and then you'll have a bare spot. But I'm just going to come back and double check all of that here. I don't have anything going over the edges that I can see, so. All right, guys. So I'm going to let this cure and then I'll be back. Okay, you guys, it's the next day and all of the flood coat that we did over here on top is completely cured, and the doming that we did along here on the top edges is all done and cured. It's, gosh, it's just really pretty. I don't even know if I can get this to, the light kind of changes and then the colors change when I'm trying to show you, but this turned out really pretty. It's got a lot of depth to it. I don't even know if you can see that on the camera, probably not as much as you can here in real life. But because the tissue paper is, you know, kind of translucent with the colors, you can just really see multiple layers in there when you're looking at it in person. And even the center that's looking really flat, probably for you, is, you know, has a bit more of a 3D look now since we added the little golden seed beads at the top. And so this is almost done. What I'm going to do now is just take a gold leaf pen and come in and do the edges here, just around the edge, just the outside edge, I believe. I might add some little rubber feet to the bottom. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be using this 18 karat gold leaf pen. I decided that this color of all the gold paint pens I have would probably match this center the best. You want to find about the halfway mark here on the felt part of your pen, okay? And then you're going to place that little mark right here on the corner of the part that you want to trim. So I'm going to do that here, about halfway, okay? And then you just kind of press firmly on it so that it's not going to move or accidentally slide off to the bottom. Okay, so sometime when your paint pen like this might be running a bit dry, like mine was. It started out okay and then it got really shallow going around. I take just one little spray of my alcohol spray and I just spray it on the tip, and that usually will kind of loosen it up, but it does make your paint thinner, so you're going to have to be kind of careful when you've got it going like that. But you see the difference after just doing one little spray? It was going well and then it just kind of disappeared. So I know it's getting low, but yeah, so that works much better. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Kind of gives it kind of a more of a finished look where the gold kind of brings in the center gold, okay? You can do another one and do the center, this part of the center, the inner rim, but I really like that I can see the translucent part of the tissue paper kind of coming through that rim. So I'm not going to do the inner part. I might, after this gold paint dries, just come in and do one more touch up all the way around just to kind of get some of the spots that are kind of bare there. But, or, you know, not as thick, but gosh, I think it turned out really pretty. I'd love to know what you guys all think about this project. It was fun, and gosh, with all the different colors of alcohol inks and dyes, I mean, you could do just about any kind of color you want. I would probably do my center a little smaller next time. So yeah, I'd probably do maybe about the size, a little bit bigger than a quarter. And thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I hope that you had fun with this project, and really hope that you give it a try. Thanks everyone. I will see you next time.